Episode 169.
The reality is we're in the business of fixing people's personal transportation. If they're flying around on hoverboards, we're going to be fixing their hoverboards.
Welcome, aftermarketers, to Remarkable Results Radio. Listen to learn just one thing from today's episode on your journey to remarkable results. Hello, aftermarketers throughout North America and around the world. Carm Capriato here, and thank you for listening to Remarkable Results Radio, the automotive aftermarket's ultimate change library. And welcome to episode 169 with Seth Thorson from Eurotech Auto Service. A quick reminder, Seth's show notes page is at remarkableresults.biz/E169. This episode is brought to you by Federal Mogul Motor Parts and Garage Gurus. For serious technical training and support, online, on-site, and on-demand, Garage Gurus is everything you need to know. Find out more at fmgaragegurus.com. Hey, don't forget to tune into Facebook on Friday afternoons at 2 p.m. Eastern to my live weekly update show. Head on over to my Facebook page, search Facebook for Remarkable Results Podcast. Like the page so you're alerted to when we go live. Okay, get ready for some fresh insights from multi-shop owner Seth Thorson. Besides owning 2 shops in the Minneapolis area, he also owns LMV Bavarian, an independent technical information system for vehicles manufactured by BMW. Seth is a very busy entrepreneur who pays it forward with his perspectives on warranty and why he self-insures, that he prefers to train his A-techs, and that's been his method of late, the minimum hours he feels techs need to log for training each year, and also hear about his training company, LMV Bavarian, and how he's doing remote diagnostics with shops all over the country. Seth shares what the shop of the future is going to look like, and he explains how he'll grow his business. Also hear about a high-tech beta program he's doing with BMW on consignment of parts. He also has a secret on how he accomplishes everything on his plate. Now get ready to hear from a competitive entrepreneur who loves to train technicians and who embraces new technology. Here we go with Seth Thorson. I'd like you to meet a shop owner with 2 locations in Minnesota, a tech trainer, he teaches all over the country, and an instructor for the BIMers, the BMW Shop Owners Group. Hey, it's great to have on the show. Meet Seth Thorson.
Hey, Carm, how are you doing?
Hey, I'm great. Just great, Seth. So, you're a busy guy.
Yeah, I'm pretty busy.
I've seen you on Facebook. I've seen you all over the place. I can't wait to find out what makes you tick. What is one thing right now that's got you fired up?
Right now, we're fired up about doing training. We got some classes coming up. We're doing some training on the West Coast. Lots of new technology coming out from BMW. All the new F cars, they're releasing model after model after model. So it's a never-growing challenge to keep up to date, keep the technicians up to date. The biggest thing right now is ISTA. BMW has switched over to the platform of ISTA. There's some challenges with some of the aftermarket tools on the market, and a lot of shops are excited and wanting to switch over to ISTA, and we're having to do a ton of training and a ton of support on how to use the system.
Are you training new model year stuff, or are you helping the guys with like 3-4-year-old cars?
Well, new models to them. So what we typically do is, since I do tech support, I get posts from shops all over the country. And what we can do is look at what the trends are. And as these shops start to see the cars, we know that more and more will. So the trend says we should train on this model or this chassis so that the shops are ready for that car to come in, so they're knowledgeable when that car comes in.
So you have gone to the Beamers group meetings and taught, but yet you also travel around the country?
I also travel around the country. I teach 8 to 9 seminars all over the country through LMV, and I also do about 6 weekends a year for SSF Auto Parts on the West Coast, which is a brand new concept. We're actually doing live in-person hands-on training where they rent a college out, and we do a half day in the classroom and a half day where we actually bug the car, set up problems, and make the students fix them.
Was that your idea?
That was kind of their idea. They wanted to do hands-on, and they kind of approached me at how we're going to do hands-on. And we came up with a plan of how to accomplish it. They've invested a lot of money and time in it. They have toolboxes. They have monitors so that, when you're doing diagnostics, you don't have 15 people crowd around one computer. They have a 55-inch monitor that mirrors the image so students can look all over at everything.
Very aggressive for a parts store to go into this level of training.
Yeah, that's very aggressive. It's one of the neater programs that's currently being produced on the market right now.
So tell me about your two shops. Did they come over time? How'd you get into your first job?
Well, I was working for an independent shop, and I wanted to do something different. I knew I didn't want to be a tech for the rest of my life, and there was a shop in Minnesota that was looking for somebody to come manage it and, ease into buying the shop. And I met with them, and I'm from Minnesota, and I told my wife, let's go look at it, and convinced her to move from Michigan to Minnesota, and bought a European shop that, was doing okay, but needed some refinements, as Cecil would say. And we put in some game plans and kind of implemented new plans and procedures and got the shop running.
As an entrepreneur, are you unemployable? Is that why you went into business?
I could be considered that at some level, yes.
Okay. What part of that do you consider?
I may be a bit stubborn or maybe a bit bullheaded, and I don't like somebody tell me what type of hours I can work and when I can work, and I'm more than happy to work 10, 12 hours a day, and it's hard to do that for somebody else when they want to pay overtime.
I see. Yes. So you had to get out on your own so that you could just put every ounce of energy you have into growing your business.
Pretty much.
So when did shop number 2 come around?
Shop number 2 came around. There was a customer I know that does business acquisitions and sales, and he had a shop, and he was having trouble selling it. And it's in a interesting part of Minneapolis, and it was sitting there, and the current owner was just not making money with it. Couldn't make money, was losing money basically. The shop wasn't worth anything, and he really wanted out of it. And so when that happens, we talk a little bit of consolidation industry and what's going on, and the shop was worth pennies. So I picked it up for pennies and trying to fix it and turn it around.
Successful?
Slowly. Yep. We're getting it there. It's been operational about 2 years. So every year it gets better and better, and we're doing some big things this year, some name changes and new marketing. And that's come around quite a bit.
You say big challenges. Give me one.
The demographic of that area of town, it's a lower end part of town that is slowly being a transitional period. And the city planners I met with and everything have a plan, some light rail, some trolley stuff going in, taking out some old blight. So that part of town is interesting. So we're negotiating all of that.
And it's called Green Garage?
Green Garage, yep. It used to be Friends Automotive.
Okay, why did you call it green?
Green energy is really popular in that part of town. We talk about recycling and renewable resources. I see the future as possibly getting into more electric cars and hybrids, and that is going to be a big part of that shop's future.
Do you do European there, or are you in all models?
All models, all makes right there. We do some European. The European customers that come there are very different than the European customers that come to Eurotech.
Those European customers probably have a 10-year-old car.
Maybe not a 10-year-old car. They might have a 4-year-old car, but their perception of what they value in their car is different. The customers that bring their car to a general repair with the European cars are a different breed of customer than the ones that truly understand and want their car to be perfect, that would generally seek out a European specialty shop.
Know why you install Felpro, the gaskets professionals trust? Every part that goes into a Felpro box is validated and approved by a Felpro engineer. Product testing and validation is an integral part of Felpro's engineering, manufacturing, and field testing, where vehicles undergo tests that log over 1 million miles every year. They also reach out to you, the pro, through technology blogs and their technical forums to listen, learn, and keep in touch with you. It's amazing to think that Felpro produces over 325,000 gaskets per day. That's 325,000 per day in their 1 million square foot facility in Skokie, Illinois. Under the same roof, engineering and manufacturing uphold Felpro quality, utilizing 4,500 active production tools with tooling tolerances to 5 microns. Now that's smaller than a human hair. A tight tolerance like that ensures the sealing ability of Felpro gaskets. And their own in-house chem lab develops proprietary formulations like PermaDry Plus to produce 35,000 molded rubber sealing components every day. Plus, with Felpro, you get coverage from 1955 of 96% of all domestics and 93% of all import vehicles. So feel confident that with new engines and new technologies, Felpro will be there with innovative solutions to solve your customers' sealing problems. Felpro, the gaskets professionals trust. Go to felpro-only.com for more information. What made you jump into training?
Training is something I've always been a big believer in doing training. When I left the dealer used to call me for some problems that they had. The other shops used to call me. I joined Beamers. People would call me all the time. Hey, solve this, help this. And I got involved with IATN, and I really liked helping people on IATN. And at a certain point, you get to the point of, well, if I'm going to do all this help, I need to get paid for it.
Take me back to the first time someone said, hey, could you come and teach a class?
First time somebody said come teach a class was probably a company called Diagnostics, Angela Capana, who worked with Bomb Tools and kind of hired me on to do some co-instructing for some of his classes. I had also taught a class for Beamer's regional meeting at Charlie Burke's place, Bentley Publishers. Was kind of the first foray into it, and it's something that always intrigued me. Get up in front of people and talk to them and show them your knowledge, enhance their knowledge, make them better technicians, make the industry better as a whole.
So every great tech wants to be a business owner. Were you a good business owner, or did you have to have that transitional period?
I'm a good business owner. It did take some transition, some training to learn how to do it. I think a good tech can do it if they have the mindset. Diagnosing a business is not that much different than diagnosing the car. You look at the data, you look at the information, and what you have to do is diagnose what's wrong. If the business isn't moving in one direction, it's kind of like a car. You look at the misfire data. Okay, why are my numbers off here? Why are my numbers off here? What do we have to do to fix it? The diagnostic process of fixing a business versus fixing a car is honestly not that far off.
You've got so many things going on. What inspires you?
What inspires me is I don't know. My dad's a very driven person. I like to work, and I enjoy what I do. And I've never not been busy. Even in high school, I played sports, I worked. I just have always been a very busy person. I'm not very good at staying around and doing nothing.
When did you realize you were living the good life?
Oh, I don't know if there's a good life is staying busy and enjoying what you do. I mean, if you didn't like what you do, the money, anything else that you do, none of it really matters. You truly have to enjoy what you do.
Got it. No, that's so true. Hey, what tech advances coming up, or that maybe haven't even been invented yet, could disrupt your business model?
We're going to be in the model of fixing people's personal transportation. So people are worried about electric cars, self-driving cars. They're worried about what Google's developing. People are worried when the fiber optics came out on the cars. People have been worried for as long as I've been in this business about being put out of business. The reality is we're in the business of fixing people's personal transportation. If they're flying around on hoverboards, we're going to be fixing their hoverboards.
That's right. Put the spark plugs in them.
Doesn't matter. Right. Fix the electronics on it, do the programming updates, whatever it is. We're in the business of fixing people's personal transportation.
You'll be fixing the batteries that continue to blow up, right?
Yeah. Especially if Samsung builds them.
Yeah, the Samsung hoverboard. Shoo, boom.
Pretty much.
So tell me about your, do you sit down with your supplier at all, your main supplier, and talk to them about your needs?
We do. We sit down with a lot of our suppliers. In fact, we sat down with BMW, which is our big supplier at Eurotech. And we're doing some beta test pilot programs for them. In fact, just before we got on the air, they were in here doing some install work. And we'll be here tomorrow.
Like what?
We're doing a parts consignment program with them where they're going to put in a rack with an RFID chip. And we're going to set up what parts we're carrying. And when we pull the part off the shelf, it'll bill us. And it'll have minimum, maximum quantities, and they will come refill our stock, and we're going to stock $10,000, $15,000 of OE BMW parts on consignment.
Okay, and so you have to take that part and put it up against a reader when you take it out?
No, the whole bins are one big reader, and we hook it up to what they call their Aculus box, and we put on our network. So we've been doing a lot of networking and IT work to get ready for this.
So it comes off the shelf. What if you end up not using it and you put it back on the shelf? Will it remove?
It scans it back in.
Very, very intelligent. How important is the warranty that you get from your supplier versus the warranty you give to your customer?
It is important and it's not important. If you talk to Cecil, who's a friend of mine. If you price things right, the warranty is what it is. I'm a big believer in self-insuring. I'm not I don't want a warranty labor from my suppliers. I want them to give me the best price they can give me on the product. And whatever their warranty is, it's not going to affect my decision. My decision is going to be based on what my margins need to be and what my risk exposure is. And I'd rather self-insure everything.
Self-insure. Interesting. So many people want to be paid for their labor, but you feel that it's the best way for you.
It's the best way for me. I don't want to pay for the other inefficiencies that other shops may have, because if they're doing their labor pool, if they're paying you for labor, those other shops that are maybe not as efficient as yours, you're sharing that cost because the manufacturer has to spread that cost out. I want the best possible price on the product, and I will take care of my
Do you think it'll ever change where no one will pay labor at all, prices will stabilize or come down, and you self-insure?
I think it will. The suppliers I buy from don't pay labor. So a lot of the suppliers I buy from don't pay labor. So if I go to my supplier and I look at my data and I bought 10 of those parts and 8 of them failed, I'm probably going to have a conversation with my supplier and say, look, I'm never buying this part again from you. You either need to get a better quality part or I'm going elsewhere. But that's the conversation to have with the supplier.
You're a trainer. Are you training your own people or are you sending them out?
We do some of both. We train in-house. We do definitely in-house training, but we do send them out. I'm still a believer in no matter what the boss tells them, hearing it from somebody else is still going to make them respond back.
That's a great point. That is so, yeah. Yeah, okay, yeah. Seth tells us we should know this. Right.
Yeah, pretty much.
Great point.
They let them hear from somebody else at the same time, and it's something.
I've been there and done that. I always used to joke with a buddy of mine who lived like an hour and a half down the road in a different city, and I says, "Hey, could you do me a favor? Come in with a briefcase and talk to my people. Tell them what I want to tell them. Yeah, you're from a different place, and you come in. Your message has a different way of being heard." Great point. Training. How many hours a year do you think your techs, or do you know that your techs are getting, and what do you think's the minimum to keep current?
I think you're going to have a minimum. They're going to have to do a minimum of 40 hours a week in training.
No, a year, you mean? Or
40 hours a year of training, of updated training. But it's always live, ongoing. I'm a big proponent of telling my techs what's coming in and hoping that they can go home and research the next car for the next day, over dinner or whatever they're doing. My more successful techs are doing that.
Very good. Service advisor training, same stuff?
Same stuff. Yeah, we do some in-house, but we use a lot of external people for service writer training.
Tell me about the future. When we had our pre-call, I was so interested about how you look about how you're thinking down the road about supporting online diagnostics.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Online diagnostics are something we've been doing for the last 3 or 4 years. A lot of people on the BMW side have what we call ISTA, which is the online system. It allows me to remote into their computer. I can actually take over the whole diagnostic process for them. And basically they become my hands. They grab the component, check it, give me a reading, I input it, and we go through the whole diagnostic process, which allows the shop to be more profitable and farm out some of the really, really high-end work. Or if they don't have a BMW expert on staff, if they have the equipment, I can go in and help them. We do a lot of programming. I probably program remotely at least 4 or 5 cars a day all over the world.
Who's doing that for you?
The remote programming? Me. I have multiple monitors, as you saw when you logged in, and I just set up programming stations and watch them.
How did you find this time to do this interview with me?
I scheduled the time. You sent me the email. I sent it to my assistant. She put it on my calendar, and I, had a meeting before you scheduled. They ran a little bit late, but she puts things on my calendar, and I know when they're there.
So you're a systems guy.
I am a systems guy to some degree. Yeah, I like things fairly organized and scheduled, even though it doesn't always appear I'm that organized.
Okay, systems win wars. Are you just systematized at your locations and how you do things in your world?
Yeah, we're pretty systemized. We have a lot of standard operating procedures. But the difference between me and some other managers or owners is I don't write the standard operating procedures and to make the employees do them. I make the employees write their own procedures. It's a lot easier to make them hold accountable to what they expect themselves to do. So they write their own standard operating procedures and we hold them accountable to what they write.
Brake jobs are a staple component of all successful shops, and getting the brake job right helps build a quality reputation for any shop. When the best is called for and stopping distance, rotor wear, and pad life are important to every shop and its customers, Wagner OEX brake pads are your only choice. Based on benchmark testing conducted by Link Engineering Company, Wagner OEX pads can stop a pickup, SUV or CUV, up to 50 feet sooner. Based on internal testing comparing new Wagner OEX to other Wagner offerings, the unique design of Wagner OEX increases pad life up to 2 times longer. The customized shape and slot design of each of the more than 114 SKUs creates a turbulent airflow that allows for cooler operation and improved stopping power for the vehicle on which it was designed. Wagner OEX cover 95% of the U.S. market of pickups, SUVs, and CUVs. Wagner has the science behind stopping perfected. They conduct 13,000 critical tests each year, and as of today, have 258 issued patents with 68 patents pending. Wagner has earned their stripes. Now they want to earn yours. Install Wagner OEX, the customized brake pad that can stop your customer's truck up to 50 feet sooner. Technicians, you at full staff?
I am not at full staff right now. We just lost a tech, so we are hiring for techs right now. Yeah.
How do you overcome that? Do you just schedule less?
We do schedule less. Some of it becomes I'm the backup tech. I can go out there and turn some cars over if I have to. Usually we do what we call the triage method. The service writer will write up what it is. I'll go out there and do the diag and get at least the answers to the customers, and then the techs can do the work when it's sold. So we'll, kind of basically triage all the cars.
How long do you think it'll be till you find, you're looking for an A-Tech, I imagine?
We're looking for an A-Tech. I can take a B-Tech and train to an A-Tech, which is what we've done for years too.
So did you ever mentor any young tech?
Yes. Almost every one of my techs have all been hired fresh out of tech school and trained. We've grown almost all our own techs.
Growing. Yeah, I was going to ask that question, and thanks for bringing it up. Wonderful, wonderful. Marketing, advertising, where are you spending your money?
Online, predominantly online, Facebook and online. We do a lot of Facebook marketing now, which is something that's a little newer in the last couple of years. The demographics have gotten easier to target. That's more of an exposure. Direct response mailing still, we use some. We've tried other things. Some things work better than others.
Ever do any Facebook Live?
We haven't done any Facebook Live as a company. We've done some videos. We've done some other targeted ads, but we haven't done Facebook Live yet.
Tell me your best customer service story.
The best one, I'm going to relate one that my staff does because I don't deal with a lot of the customers. That's what my staff does. I say hi to them and ask them how their kids are. But best story, we had a customer the other day that was really upset about their car. We had just done a whole bunch of aftermarket suspension, $4,000 or $5,000. And of course, driving the car, all of a sudden it got squirrely on the customer and they couldn't drive it very well. Immediately they got it back here. I'm in DC at the Beamers meeting. I get an email from the customer about something happened to their car. And so, I can't do anything. I send the customer back saying, hey, make sure you talk to Amber. She'll get it settled. Get back from the shop here that Amber had got the car in. Found out another bolt had broken. There was some body work done in the past, unrelated. But she got the car in, took care of the customer, no charge, the whole thing, got him in one of our loaner cars, got him out the door within 10 minutes in a loaner car, sent him pictures of it. I followed up with the customer and I got back and he told me, he goes, it was great. She took good care of me. I was so upset because I just spent the money and I thought you guys screwed up. She showed me what was going on. She got me in a car. She got me transportation. She swapped the car afterwards with me at my work, and he was happy as could be. I followed up when I got back, but there's nothing I could do remote. She kept me apprised.
Aren't you going to get a great referral from that someday?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he was very, very happy. He said he'd tell everybody about it, obviously.
Yeah. I heard the story that referrals, you get good referrals because people want, it's a reflection on them. So when someone comes to your shop based on that referral, they're going to know the story already.
Yeah. Yeah, and they're going to know we're going to take care of them if something happens. That's my biggest thing we train is you can only control how you act when there's a problem. You can't prevent every single problem. Stuff's going to happen.
Digital vehicle inspections, are you doing them?
We are not. We've tested a bunch of them. They all seem to have their own little bugs and quirks. That's a part of the industry they still need to fix, in my opinion. We still do the hand inspections. We take pictures of the car. We attach them to our work order, but we still use the paper.
So you're not using smartphone to text back out to the owner and say, hey, look at what we found?
We are. We take pictures, they email them to our service writers who then put them in email to the customer with the report.
So you're doing some kind of modified communications with your customers.
We are doing that for sure. Email, text. For sure.
You mentioned earlier about, I asked you the question about technology and, with ride-sharing, hydrogen vehicles, EVs, driverless, autonomous. Are you prepared, ready, and excited for that?
You can never be 100% prepared. We are getting more prepared. We're getting more information every day on what that stuff will entail in fixing. Are we excited to work on? Definitely. That stuff that scares everybody will keep the other shops from working on it. So if we're excited and willing and able to learn the stuff, then we're going to be successful and the other businesses won't be.
Telematics, who owns the data?
Right now, that is the big battle. That is something that ASA is fighting. That's something that everybody is fighting. There's some aftermarket companies out there, but right now the manufacturers are the ones controlling it.
Who do you think should own the data?
The customer rightfully probably should own the data, but the car manufacturer made the software, so there's some stakes in it there too. That's something that's going to be interesting to see how that plays out.
I hear you mentioned ASA. Are you involved?
I'm an ASA member. I'm not super involved with ASA, but I'm an ASA member.
Are there any must-attend conferences that shop owners need to go to?
The couple big ones, obviously, if you're in European shop that does BMWs, Beamers is a great one. If you're a general repair shop, the Vision Show in Kansas City is one of the great shows. It's not only what you learn in class, it's the networking that happens after. It's the mini impromptu sessions that happen. I've met some really good people through some of those impromptu sessions.
I believe that's where the biggest value of any meeting is when you go for a break or you get a break and you're in a group of, 5 or 6 people that you've either been friends with, you only see them at the conference. That's where all the great network and learning happens.
Mm-hmm. Very much so. That's one of the things I watch at my training. If there's some great conversations happening during the break, I may extend my breaks a little bit and let those conversations kind of happen.
Hey, what's the shop of the future going to look like?
I think the shop of the future is going to be a very connected shop. I think the IT technology is going to play a big factor in it. I think you're going to see highly trained technicians. Techs are going to have to get up to speed. I think you're going to see some big shifts. I think you're going to see less bays. I think we have too many bays. Cars are not breaking as much as they used to. So you're going to see shops that need more customer base, and you're going to see less visits per year.
Are you going to grow?
Am I going to grow? Yes.
So
I have no choice.
Are you have no choice. Are you going to add on, or are you just going to keep adding shops?
Some of both. We're going to add on. We do things to get customers to come to us, but we haven't exceeded capacity here.
Okay.
But yes, we're going to add some shops. I have some ideas of some unique ways that we're going to expand without adding many locations. But that's something I'm working on. So
you're a BMW, Mercedes, and Audi at the Eurotech service facility.
Correct.
I own a Lexus.
Mm-hmm.
You won't look at it, will you?
I would not look at the Lexus, unfortunately. No.
Okay. All right. Would you send it down to the...
I would refer it to our green garage shop and say, I have some staff down there. They're trained. They do everything we do. But they can help you out down there.
How do you do it? How do you teach 8 seminars? How do you diagnose cars from long distance, run 2 shops, have all these future plans, write these seminars? Is there anything that our listeners could learn from you that, are you like the Energizer Bunny? How's it work, man?
I don't know. My staff is convinced I'm a zombie and don't sleep, but
I get it.
it's that time of year, right? We just had the zombie pub crawl here in Minnesota, so it's that time of year. But
is that true? Is that right? Is that right?
We just did. Yeah, it was just this weekend. No, I don't know. I think it comes with taking ownership of your business. It comes with holding employees accountable so that you can manage what they do and manage the time that they have, and spend more time working on your business and working on the things you like to do and parts of the business that excite you, and hire expertise in the parts of the business that don't excite you.
Hey, do you own your dream car?
Yes and no. I mean, my dream car changes. The funniest part of it is I'm not a huge car guy. I like cars. I like the technology part of the cars. I like solving problems. I don't know that, I'm a huge car guy, but snowmobiles, sure.
Snowmobiles?
Snowmobiles, sure.
I wonder, it's cold up there.
It is cold. I like it.
I've spent a lot of time in Minneapolis back in my corporate days, and boy, I'll tell you, and I'm from Buffalo, we got the snow, you guys got the cold.
I like the cold. You can put more clothes on. It's fine. The shop's heated.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. And it's air conditioned, I bet, in the summer.
It's air conditioned in the summer. The techs love it.
So what if I said to you automotive science or automotive service? Interesting.
I'd say we're a mixture of both. When you look at anything going on, even in the academic world, that line is blurring a little bit more between, even you look at STEM, that line is blurring. So I don't know that you could classify one as either or.
Great answer. Thanks. What did I fail to ask you that you're burning to tell us?
I don't know if there's anything you failed to ask me. I mean, the training is, training's coming. I mean, the biggest thing I can tell you is get training on every aspect of your business, whether it's technicians, whether it's your front staff. There's just too much to do. If you want to make money, you need to get your people trained and hold them accountable.
And how about entrepreneurial training? I think you mentioned you have a business coach?
I use Cecil for some of our business coaching, yep, okay. At I4.
And, I mean, what do you do to keep your entrepreneurial skills high? I mean, do you belong to a 20 group of sorts?
I belong to a 20 group. And I think a lot of it is, and Cecil may disagree or agree, but I think a lot of it is you either have the drive to do it or you're in this business because you fell into it. But I think there's a different drive in certain entrepreneurs that makes them succeed above and beyond other people.
A level of self-improvement and personal accountability. Agree or disagree?
I agree.
Yeah, you mentioned that accountability word earlier, and I like that. And I think there's just not enough of that going on, especially many shop owners that I've met just seem to blame the outside world on things, and they don't even hold themselves accountable for paying their bills and growing a great business.
Yeah, I've seen some of that. I think you have to be accountable. I think the woe is me attitude doesn't really work. There's always a way to change what's going on, in my opinion. You can always make it work. There's always things you can do. I mean, some things are always out of your control. If your shop gets wiped away by a hurricane, you're slightly out of your control, but you still can control the fact that you had proper insurance, you had continuing business insurance, you had all your other ducks in a row to absorb that natural disaster. So I still don't think it's completely out of your control. There's still things you can control about the event.
I should have asked you this earlier in the interview. Is there a way that anyone could get in touch with you on your training?
Sure. The training, you can go to my website, which is lmvbavarian.net. So lmvbavarian.net, and that will get you to my website. My training calendar's on there. There's a free video on ISTA training if you want to see kind of a webinar of what goes on. There's a half-hour webinar you can watch. Just some free stuff going on there.
Excellent. Thanks. Hey, it's Seth. Thanks for sharing your wisdom, your stories. One last request. Can you share with us any great wise words of wisdom that you think about all the time?
There's some words of wisdom that I always think of is there's always somebody that's willing to work harder to take everything away. So That's always what I look at.
Excellent. To take it away, huh? So tell me about competition. You don't consume over it? You just want to know where they stand?
Yeah, I'm a very competitive person, so, competition's good. Somebody wants to come in and beat me at my game, let's play.
Seth, thanks for being on the show.
Thank you.
Hey, guys and gals, thanks so much for listening. Now, find additional show notes on Seth Thorson at remarkableresults.biz/E169 to include his bio and links to his company. The notes are exclusive for you on the show's episodes page, and you can also filter episodes by categories and even drill down further with the tag cloud. All there to give you a great experience on my website. I truly appreciate your engagement with the podcast and would ask that you help spread the word. Don't keep this a secret. It's a big world out there. Share with a peer or friend, and thanks. I'm grateful for your support. Thanks for being on board to listen and learn from another inspiring aftermarket professional. Until next time.